Hello, my name is Walter Wimberly, and I'm an assistant professor of computer science. In this series, I answer questions that a lot of either first time students or maybe potential students of computer science ask me. Well, this is a series within that series, which is talking about the different types of colleges that you might have the opportunity to go to. So, we're looking at four different types of colleges you might experience in the United States. We're looking at the third one. We've already talked about the state college system, the state university system, and today we'd like to look at private colleges, specifically nonprofit or sometimes not for profit colleges. Now, you might ask, well, what's the difference between a nonprofit and a not for profit? That's a bit complicated and that deals more with tax law and business things. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to kind of treat those two as the same. Now, I've had the opportunity to both attend as a student and teach at a not for profit private college. So, what's the difference between a private school and a public school? Well, a private school still has to be licensed by the state and meet certain accreditation rules. That's true no matter what type of school you attend. The difference is a private school is not directly tied to the state and therefore does not receive state funding. And that leads us to our first con of a private school, which is they tend to be more expensive. This is especially true if you're what you refer to as a cash student, one who's paying cash to attend, or if you are attending using some sort of financial aid outside of scholarships. Now, a lot of private schools do a very good job in their financial aid in trying to find different types of scholarships and grants that might be applicable to you to bring the cost more in line. In fact, you'll find a lot of times if you're looking at a private school or a state university system that you're going to attend outside of your native state, you're going to find the prices to be very similar in a lot of cases, and it may be cheaper to attend a private school because it's smaller and they're able to find better scholarships and grants for you. So, what's some other things you can expect at a private institution? Well, most private colleges tend to be smaller compared to their state run public counterparts. The school that I happen to right now teach at has between about 17 and 1900 students on average, whereas our state run schools that are just north or south of us by about an hour tend to have between 25 and 35,000 students. So you can get a much better hands-on one-on-one type of instruction because it's a smaller school. You're going to see the same instructors over and over again. They're going to know you by name, and it's more personalized for you compared to being a number in a large university system. Now, another con to offset that pro is because we do tend to be much smaller, it means that a lot of times we don't have as many different types of degrees that you can offer. So you might go to a small private school and see that you have 35 to 45, up to about 50 different degrees that you might be able to go for. Compare that with a large university system, and you might have 150 to 200 different types of degrees. Now, does that matter? Probably not. A lot of times those smaller schools, they still have your standard popular degree systems that you would expect. Things like a degree in English, a degree in math and sciences, things like that. You're still going to have to be able to take all your core classes that would be required by a state or public institution, which is part of reasons why we are licensed by the state. So that's some of the things that you can expect. Smaller classrooms, more one-on-one type of instruction. However, like I said, it does tend to be more expensive. Now, another major advantage you're going to find in most private institutions is going to be that they tend to be what we call a teaching college. Colleges in general can be broken down into one of two categories. Either a teaching where education and teaching is the primary goal, or research where research is the primary goal. Most of the research institutions are going to be in your state university system. Your state university systems, because of their size, because of their endowments, etc., they can bring in a lot more researchers, and therefore a research instructor might only teach one class a semester, sometimes not even that, if they are very well known for their research. The downside to that, now, while they're doing cutting edge research, and that's definitely a good thing, the downside is, as an undergraduate, very rarely do you get to participate in that. You'll need to usually be in your master's. Now, that doesn't mean you won't get a tour of the lab, or they might have someone come in for a one-off lecture discussion to talk about different research opportunities that the school is partaking in. But you're not going to be doing the research yourself. You're not even very likely to have those research instructors as your instructor. You would have to wait till you work on your master's or your doctorate to get to that. In a private institution, you'll tend to be more teaching oriented, and approximately 80% of our workload is focused on teaching classes and working with students. That other 20% can be involved with advising, civic engagement with the community, or research, but most of our effort goes into teaching and helping our students. And I think that's one of the biggest positives that you can get out of a private institution. So there's some pros and cons of going to school at a private, not-for-profit college. Next up, we'll look at the private for-profit college and see how that differs. If you want to look at some of the other videos, we've also talked about the state college system and the university college system, and you can look there.